Good afternoon and happy Sunday. I am joining you from Langley, British Columbia, and we are going to make a card with this new set that will be available September the 4th. Okay, I'm just double checking what you can see on my camera. Please say hello if you are joining me and where you are joining from. Okay, I think we're good. So I'm just going to get started. Okay, I got my pre-order in last week. So if you follow me, you would have seen me unbox these items. And then I finally got a chance to play. So usually what I do when I get something new is I case straight from the catalog to start with, because it just helps me to get using the pieces. So that is what I have done, although my card is a tiny bit different, but it's relatively close. So this is the adorable snowy, I believe Snowy Scenes is what the suite is called. It is actually a suite of products. Sorry, I'm just going to look it up just so I can be accurate. It is called, of course, I should have had the page marked. You can never find what you want when you, yeah, Snowy Scenes. So Snowy Scenes, the bundle is called Snowy Wonder, and the paper is also called Snowy Scenes. So I have all but one item in the suite. I have the bundle. So this adorable stamp set with tons of dies. So you can see all the dies that it has. So it die cuts basically every single little thing here. And then we have this extra die cut. Anything that is solid is an extra die cut. So this tree, these little snowflakes, and that snowflake are extra. It comes with this paper, it comes with this ribbon, and then the other thing it comes with are like little loose snowflakes, which I did not buy. So those would be for shaker cards, also as an embellishment, but I didn't get those at the moment. I knew I wasn't going to make a bunch of shaker cards, so I didn't want them to go to waste. So this is a paper, adorable. I will show you if you aren't familiar with it. So you can see we're using this candy cane side. On the other side, it's got this little village. We've got these two different types of snow globes on this side, and then this beautiful blue and green snowflakes with some white. We might use this for this card instead of what I used last time. Bigger snow globes, so you could honestly just fussy cut these. You could die cut these actually probably too, and have these be your card fronts, and then just really pretty pink snowflakes on the back of that. This cute little wintry scene, so you'd be able to die cut some of these trees for sure. The snowman you wouldn't be able to die cut because you'd lose his arms. But you could make do, I suppose. And then just a plaid, and then the cute little penguins, some of which you'd be able to die cut. And then this would be petal pink. Hard to believe. And I want to say like pumpkin pie on the back for little trees. And then there's this holly piece. And on the back we just have some red and green stripes. So you can never go wrong there. I like how this has got like a pool party background, and then that piece that we've already seen. Okay, so there is your DSP. It's super cute, and we are going to go ahead and get started. So like I said, this card is inspired by a design in the catalog. It is almost exactly the same. My dimensions aren't quite the same, and I added this extra Poppy Parade strip on the end, but otherwise it is pretty much exactly what you see. So I did a little pre-cutting just so we didn't take as long. So I have already die cut our globe in Pool Party, okay? And then what I also did was I die cut the bottom, just the bottom, so you can see where I've done this on the edge of my paper in basic white. And this is so we can create our snow at the bottom, okay? So those things I did in advance. I have also already die cut the base of our snow globe in garden green. And that is pretty much it. The rest we are going to do together. Super cute. I had a lot of fun putting this guy together. I mean, you could definitely do this in mass production. You would just have to be organized, I think, and go in phases. But okay, we're gonna put these guys to the side. We're gonna keep this here. So we are definitely gonna recreate the snow globe. We just might change the background. So I'm gonna get set up. We're gonna do our stamping and then we're gonna set up a bunch of our die cutting. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I've already got everything mounted. So we are going to stamp the snowman in Memento. Super cute little guy. So we're gonna get this on here, ensuring we have enough border around him for die cutting. I like to try not to waste paper, but you have to be careful that you leave a space, otherwise your die cut will be cut off. Okay, we want real red and petal pink. Those are the other colors in here. And garden green. Okay, so I'm going to do both the hat and the holly berries at the same time, same stamp. I've made sure I've left enough room that I'll be able to die cut them both. I might leave just a tiny bit more room. So ink those guys up at the same time. Put them in there. I've got some little goobers on my... That's the only thing I'm doing in the red. So I'm going to clean this because, as you know, some colors will stain your photopolymer more quickly than others. And of course, red is one of those colors. Oh, I lied. We're also doing one gift in red, Puppy Parade. So I will do this one gift as well. Clean this off. I don't generally, so if you are familiar with me, just making sure I'm not getting red ink on my sweatshirt, cutesy is not typically what I buy, but I really just kind of wanted something that was sweet this year for Christmas. And so this was my choice. I liked the little scenes. I thought it was cute without being like over the top, terribly cute. And it will be fun to put together because you can use the different pieces, whether it's the snowman or the penguin or the two of them together. Okay, now we want garden green for this holly leaves. Find a spot where I can squeeze this in and still, but I'm gonna do it right here. Yeah. It's fine, I'll be able to line it up. There we go, perfect, because it is clear. All right, so there is all our stamping that we are going to need to die cut. Clean all those off. And then I'm just gonna bring my plate over. I have the worst plates right now. I was trying so hard to keep them nice and flat, but that didn't work. Okay, so we're gonna cut out as many pieces as we can at a time. Beauty of this one, I do believe they will all fit through your mini cut and emboss. Let me just double check. I think so. Here. All my plates are upstairs. Yeah, it will. So if all you have is a mini, this would be a set you could get. Okay, sorry. Let's get this guy. So we're gonna die cut as many pieces as we can at once. Just minimizes the time we are spent running through our machine. This is just Sizzix tape that I found on Amazon to hold my dies in place. It comes as a roll of 2. It's pretty cheap. It's like $4 or something like that. You can also get a 3M one that comes on like a tape dispenser. I have them both. So we can't do too many things that are too close together, otherwise it's not going to die cut them well. But I'm gonna do as many as I can. Sorry, this is the least exciting part for sure. So I appreciate your patience if you are hanging in and continuing to watch. If you're like me, I'm the worst audience. I will often tune in and then, you know, we're busy. And then I come back on later. I'm just gonna make sure I'm getting that guy on there right. Okay. So let's go ahead and die cut those. Bring them back over, bring this guy in. Oh, I forgot after all that to do the little snowflakes. Well, that's okay, we're gonna do more. So there's one present. There's the hat. I'm gonna put the dies away as I finish with them because nothing is worse than losing your die. There's our berries. You'll also see that I outline my dies so I know where to put them. Snowman, so he's really easy to line up in case you're wondering, so that's good because nothing's worse than a big image that doesn't line up very well. Okay, we also want to get these guys on here, so I'm just going to bring this in here. I already have one of these snowflakes. I want 5, so I'll do 4 more. We need to do the present. We need the holly, and then we'll have to run it one more time to get that 3rd present. I promise this is the time-consuming piece. After this, you're gonna see, oh, it comes together pretty quick. Of course, the design I chose to case had like the most things in it, but you know what? It's good because then I can show all of you all the different bits. How cute it is. Okay. We want 4 of those. The nice thing about this set is if you are not someone who has markers or blends, you don't need them. This is not a coloring set. It is a stamping set. Everything is basically filled in when you stamp. So, you know, different things that you may or may not look for when you are purchasing, but certainly things to consider when if you don't have markers and you are not interested in investing in that, then you kind of need to look at what do the stamps look like. Are they ones that I need to color, or do I actually stamp to get the shading? Okay, we still need that. So I like both, so I buy both. But the blends is an investment for sure, so not everyone has those. We are going to use a little bit of blends on here, but that is just a bonus. You certainly don't have to. You could use a pencil crayon, the watercolor pencils or a marker, or you could just not do the shading bit that we're gonna do. Okay, there is all our die cutting. So we're gonna move those things off to the side. We're gonna bring in all our pieces here. Make sure you can see them. Punch these guys out. These little pieces are super cute because they're like an embellishment, but they're not. They're little bits of paper. I mean, admittedly, you might want to stamp them with the adhesive back on, but it's not a deal breaker if you don't. Okay, let's go ahead and create our little snowy scene. So I am going to use my craft ink. I haven't used it in a long time, so I had to re-ink it yesterday, which is very tricky to re-ink because it's thick. The other thing you could do here is Stampin Versamark and emboss, but I wanted to just do this without having to emboss. So we're just creating kind of that snowy background. This is one of the little stamps in there. We're just gonna stamp it all over. I love little background stamps like these, especially ones that are great for making like a little snowy sky or something like that. So because we're going to create a snowy bottom, we don't have to go all the way to the bottom, but it's okay if it overlaps a bit. So I'm going to make sure I do lots. There we go. And yes, I still have my old craft ink. If you buy it now, it comes with the new ink pad, and then you ink that up yourself. So I'm just gonna clean this off because this is a stickier ink. I don't leave it sitting on my stamps at all. I always clean that one right off. Okay, we've cleaned everything else. That's great. All right, now we're gonna create this snow base. So I don't want it to be that big. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut lower on this side, and then the snowman is gonna end up in the middle, so that's good. It doesn't really matter what I've got going on there. And then I'm gonna come back up on this side. And you'll see then when we put it in here, we've got like a nice little snowy, I don't know what you want to call it, a snowy base, a snowy foreground. Okay, and then we're gonna glue that on. So let's get this. Let's hope I have any glue in here. My other one is upstairs. I feel like I don't, but we'll see. The only reason I want to use this, if there's any in here, is it gives me some wiggle room to move it around to make sure it's lined up exactly with the edge. So you'll see I'm going to place it on, and then I'm going to hold it up so that I know it is lined up. So really easy to do because I used the die cut to create the bottom of this. And then, there we go. We have our snowy bottom. Okay, now let's go ahead and put some more pieces on here. We are going to put the hat on the snowman. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I'm actually going to do that little bit of shading. So we're going to color his nose orange. You could use a Stampin' Right marker or a watercolor pencil. I'm using my dark pumpkin pie. And then I am going to use my light Pool Party to just add a bit of shading to his body. Just because he's all white, so it just helps to add a little bit of dimension. So I'm going thicker and then kind of thin, thicker and then thin. The other thing I did on this one is I did it along the outside as well. You'll sometimes see people do that with anything, not just like a snow scene. They take their light pool party and they outline along the outside. And it really makes quite a nice difference. I always forget to do it, but if someone reminds me and then I do it, I'm always like, oh yeah, that looks so nice. So we will just do that. Up there, I'm not too worried because he's gonna have his hat on. All right, so that is with my light pool party. Okay, now I'm gonna put the hat on. What you could also do on this hat, so maybe we will do that. In the picture they had it with like a pretty pink stripe. I'm wondering about putting a black stripe on there. Okay, so now we're going to add this guy to our card front with our dimensionals, which, here they are. So what I did last time, I put one between the hat and the body. I put one in the middle, and then I took these two guys from the bottom and put them across like that. So I use my edges all the time, not just at the end. I often use them very strategically in the middle. All right, and then we want to strategically place him kind of where this dips so that it looks a little bit more natural. So there is our cute little snowman. And then once we've got the snowman on, we're gonna add the presents and we're gonna add these little white snowflakes. So they do have a front and a back. You wanna make sure you do that properly. And then I'm gonna try to get just enough of this out of here to add them on. So this guy, since I've got him on here like it's a tweezer, I'm gonna put him on. This one is gonna go up here. This one that is now making my glass plate sticky, it's gonna go here, and then we are going to do two more down here. So power of odds, rule of odds, I don't know what it is, something like that, right? If you're gonna do 3, don't do 2, do 3, or do 5, or do 7. That's a general rule. Okay, so we've got that cute little scene, and now we're gonna go ahead and add our gifts. So 2 of these are going to be put on just with your seal or your adhesive, and 1 is going to go on with a dimensional. Okay, so we've got this pink guy, petal pink, kind of here-ish. This petal pink one is gonna just kind of overlap with our snow guy. And then the Poppy Parade is going to come in and slide in behind. Okay, so there's your cute little snow scene. Hey, hello, Andrea. And then I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on this guy and our berries. These fit quite nicely on here. You can just kind of arrange that on the back so it's not showing. All right, and now that is going to go on this, which we are going to stamp on in Versamark and then use white embossing powder. So we are going to do that. I'll bring this over and you're going to be like, wow, that seems kind of, I don't know. I've got it in a Ziploc. Obviously, if I was embossing a lot, I would use my tray. So of course I've got Stampin' Up's nice tray. But when I am just doing one, I generally don't dump it out of my Ziploc. So we are gonna ink this up in Versamark. And we're gonna line it up. It fits nicely on this base. And make sure I apply good, even pressure. Yeah, looks great. And then I'm gonna use my reverse tweezers, which also come in that whole big embossing kit. You get the buddy, you get the tray, you get the paintbrush, you get the tweezers. I use them all the time. Okay, so that looks great. We're going to bring over the heat gun. Power of embossing. Everyone's favorite wow factor. Okay, perfect. Put those things away. All right, and now we are going to build this. So when I built the last one, I overlapped it slightly, which I will do again, but you can see it kind of does really abut perfectly, but I want it to overlap a tiny bit. So I am going to run a tiny bit of seal on there. Make sure none of it is showing on the front. And then I'm just going to just a little bit overlap, because I think that is really what snow globes look like, kind of overlapped like that, right? So look at how cute that is. Oh my God. You could just have this as your card front, right? You could just put that there, do a little blending brushes behind it, maybe blend in Pool Party, stamp some more of that little snowflake, and boom, you're done. Or emboss this with that snowy embossing folder from last year that carried over, and this would be your card front, right? We're gonna keep going. We're gonna add some DSP. We're gonna add this guy to the front. But you can see how you can make this as fancy or not fancy as you want. If you were not on at the beginning, I was saying that I cased this from the catalog. I have made a few little adjustments. My dimension, I don't think is the same. Theirs looked more like a bit more square. And then I added this Poppy Parade on the side. But what I was thinking with this second one, because we don't have to make it the same, I kind of wanted to use the ribbon. So instead of the candy canes, although I have everything cut so we can make another candy cane card, I was wondering about putting it on this background instead and tying some ribbon. So I kind of like that idea, so I think we are going to try that, and we're going to have the card go this way. So I always have white card bases, although we might use a Pool Party one. So let's see, do I have and I have a Pool Party card base right here. So we will go ahead. Basically, when I buy a package of thick basic white, I used to do it with vanilla as well. Of course, they don't have the vanilla anymore. I cut the whole pack of paper as soon as I get it, because I only use it for card bases. So I cut half of it to be the one orientation and I cut half of it to be the other. So half of it I cut 4 1/4 by 11, and the other half I cut 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And I usually save that for when my mom is here, and then she helps me do that. So I'm thinking we're gonna do that. We're gonna put this on here. We're gonna put the ribbon, and then it's just gonna be super cute that way. Okay. So I'm gonna cut this 4 by 5 1/2, or 4 by 5 1/4. And my only suggestion to you is when you are cutting something that is so pretty on both sides, just make sure you start cutting it in the right direction so that you can still use the other side in the right direction. Okay. So we can put that on there straight like that, or we could layer it with a layer of garden green. So what do you think? Layer or not layer? I'm gonna cut the layer and then you can let me know. So if we wanted to mat it, we would be matting 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So then we would go like this. And then it would go on our pool party base like that. I feel like, I like the mat, but I feel like it's too big. So 4 by 5 1/4. Just trimming that a tiny bit tighter. I think I want it a little tighter top to bottom. So obviously you can make whatever kind of border you want. Just depends how good you are with lining stuff up and making it look even. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so what I am going to do is put adhesive on here. And then I'm going to do my best. You have, as long as you don't press, you can kind of wiggle this guy around, which is why you don't see me ever put glue in the middle. Because that way I can kind of just maneuver it around with my thumbs. Okay, and then I'm trying to decide because I've got a couple of thoughts in my head. So we could do 2 layers. Obviously, I wouldn't do it like that, but we could have the ribbon on there like comme ça. This ribbon you can actually color too. They show it colored in the catalog, or we could tie it. So that one's easy to sort of try on for size and then decide if I like it or not. I think if we do it this way, we are going to have it right over here to the edge, and it might be more of a knot than a bow. Ooh, that's a good knot. That's like a perfect, it's not very often I get a perfect knot where that looks nice. It's not all puffy. Okay, so I would be curious for those of you who are still watching, do we do it like that with like the knot to the side and then this whole thing will be up on dimensionals? Or do we do like, you know, 3 strips of ribbon to make it look similar to this, but it'll have the fun little pom-poms? Right? Do Do you know what I mean? Or we would do like this. Here, I'll wrap it around so we can see. Or we could have like 3 strips of ribbon behind it and no knot. It would just be like a big bunch of ribbon. I feel like I kind of like the ribbon. I'm gonna go with the ribbon. Nobody's answering me. That's cool. Okay, and then this guy would be on dimensionals. Okay, I'll be curious to know which one people like best. I think they're both adorable, but okay. What I did with the last one is I had 4 dimensionals on the globe, and then I had some half dimensionals. So I used to cut them in half all the time as a way to save them. These are like the same as the edge, right? So, but we want 3 across there. So that's why I'm cutting them in half. Okay. There is our dimensionals. I haven't colored on this guy with my Sharpie. So that's why I'm always losing it on my desk, because my desk is white. So I'm gonna do that right now. In case you're new to me, then this is, you know, if you've taken the backings off. Right, because your backings have green on them, or black or blue or whatever color Sharpie you like to use. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I really miss vellum. It was like one of my go-tos. So I kept some, of course, but I try to only use it if I have a super busy pattern. But I hope Stampin' Up! Will bring it back. But I guess time will tell. So we can really try to turn that knot so you can see it, or it can kind of so if I do that and put my little guy on, and then what we can also do is use a glue dot. What time am I at? 2, a little longer than I would like. Apologies. I try to keep the videos to a half an hour if I can, so your time is valuable. So I'm going to put a little glue dot under there, and that is just going to hold my ribbon where I want it. Okay. There we go. So we have 2 very, like, same thing, different look. So I can't wait to hear which one people like better. And then we are going to put adhesive on here. And then I always run some on the ribbon as well. Again, I'm going to kind of, I always hold this up. That's how I get a better idea if I've got it straight on my card with an even border, more or less. I also use the grid on my glass mat to see if it looks relatively good. It's pretty close. And then I apply pressure. All right, there you have it. Okay, let's get out our nice background. Wood grain DSP, friends, comes in very handy. So same thing, 2 different backgrounds for 2, what I think you get then 2 very different looking cards. So thank you for joining me. If you are one of my customers and you are local to me, please know that you can arrange with me to come by to pick up the catalog. So the catalogs, I have them. They just don't go live until September the 4th. If you are my customer and you aren't local, it should come in the mail. And if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demo and you would like a catalog, then please leave me a comment or send me a DM. Just a reminder for any of you, whether you're my customer or not, if you have bonus days coupons, you do need to use those before the end of August or else they will have expired. All right, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Please comment below if you are team candy canes or team snowflakes, or if you love them both and can't decide. All right, thanks. Have a great afternoon. Bye.